Okay, I'm showing it at 6:30, so I would like to call the March 7th, 2017 City of Gardner Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. And if everyone can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And with these microphones, you'll need to push the button. It'll light up when you want to speak, and then push it again to turn it off. So we'll go to the roll call now. Adam, if you want to start at your end. Just say your last name and present.
Adam Cox, present.
Wooten, present.
King, present.
Jacobs, present.
A quorum is present. We're going to move to the consent agenda. All matters listed within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Board of Zoning Appeals for study. These items are considered to be routine and will be enacted upon by one motion with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired on any item from either the Board of Zoning Appeals or from the floor, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. The item on the standing part of the consent agenda is standing approval of the minutes as written for the December the 6th meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the December 6th meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent agenda is approved. I'm going to move to the regular agenda, the only item on the regular agenda. Item number 1 is BZA-17-01, a variance request from the Land Development Code, Section 17.07.040, detached house suburban rear building placement setback to allow for construction of a covered patio at 16125 Canton Street. Leisure Living, LLC, the applicant, Rich and Shelley Galley, property owners of record. So, the staff presentation, please.
Good evening, Michelle Leiniger, Principal Planner. Just to reference you as to where the property is, this property is in Copper Springs subdivision. It's off of the intersection of South Canton Street and West 161st Street. As you can see, this is partially built out. The developer is currently working on developing the property at this point from the south up. Subject property is outlined in blue, and then the notification area is the line in red. Here is a picture of the subject property from West 161st Street. You can see the property line is approximately where the edge of the fence is, and this is from the side of the property. This is from the front of the property, so you can see West 161st Street and the exterior side yard. Here's a site map, basically, of what the applicant is proposing. There's currently a concrete patio in their backyard, and they are requesting a variance to allow for that patio to be covered. They're requesting a variance to reduce the 25-foot rear yard setback to 11 feet. The code sets out review criteria for variances for the board. A request for a variance may be granted in such case upon a finding by the board that all of the following conditions have been met. The first, the request variance arises from a condition which is unique to the subject property that are not ordinarily found in the same zoning district and that are not a result of the owner's intentional action. Staff has found that the applicant has stated that the uniqueness of the subject property is that it is a corner lot. Corner lots are common in residential subdivisions. This lot met the minimum lot dimensions when platted and has the same setback as a standard R1 lot all over the city, which is 25 feet. The second criteria, the granting of the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents. This one is a little more difficult to quantify. There could be visual impacts, there could be runoff impacts, more coverage to the rear yard, which was intended to be open space. Granting the variance has the effect of granting a privilege differing from that to which the property owners have complied. Really, it's a situation that the intention, the expectation of the neighbors that this setback will be open space and not covered with structures. Third review criteria, the strict application of the provisions of the zoning regulations for which the variance is requested will constitute an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulties upon the property owner represented in the application. The strict application of the provisions of the zoning regulations will not constitute an unnecessary hardship or difficult to the property owners. The lot is a typical platted lot, both depth and width, and the property is still completely usable as a single-family home with a rear yard. Variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare. Could adversely affect the neighbors or generally with that, what was stated before, that increase impervious surface, that increase of structures in the area that was intended to be open space. And also then others with similar corner lots could claim similar hardships and ask for same variance, therefore diluting the intent of the code to preserve open space, limit impacts of roof structures within the setbacks. Granting the variance would not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the code. It would. The intent of the code is to have setbacks for structures, have a certain amount of open space per lot, and the variance is opposed to that. Really, it's not a situation that's found to be unique from other similar properties. Staff recommends denial of the request for the rear yard setback variance from 14 feet to allow for a covered patio.
Thank you. We're now going to open the public hearing part of the meeting. If anyone would like to comment on this item, please come forward and state your name and address for the public record. Individuals are allotted 3 minutes. Individual representing a group is allotted 7 minutes. You can approach.
Rich Galley.
Rich.
I own the property.
Okay.
And she said a lot, but she said a lot of coulds. We know the neighbors, actually, and it's not going to impact them at all. We want to be outside, and I'm not a really big fan of the sun, so I want to be outside and be covered up, taken care of. If I get skin cancer, do I come to the city and say, I sat on my patio and couldn't be covered up, and now I got cancer? I mean, that's the only thing I want, is to be able to sit on my yard. It's my yard. I'm doing this legally. I haven't, I've been around the city now and saw plenty of things built that are definitely not to code, and we came to you guys and did this, I think, the right way. We're building something very nice, appealing to the eye. We're not covering up the patio, and we're not closing it in. I personally think that there's a lot of coulds, and I could say the opposite, and which I did. I could get sick from sun, which I don't want to sit in the sun. I want to be cool. I want to sit outside on my patio and enjoy Gardner, Kansas. That's why we moved here. And now I feel like Gardner, Kansas is going to take that away from me. I'll move out and go somewhere where I can, I guess. I mean, that's the only options I'm going to have, according to the planning committee or whoever they are. Don't know. Really, that's all I got to say. Just want to enjoy the outside.
Thank you. We have the applicant presentation, or you're Mrs. Galley?
I'm
Okay,
Shelley.
go ahead.
I'm the
Yeah.
wife. Same thing. We have a brand-new home. We moved from Olathe, not very far, to hopefully what we called a retirement home. Didn't want a whole lot of space. We don't know certain things when you come in, but we were hoping to, we have a one level, we will hope to enjoy our backyard area. We built, put a couple things out there to make it look nice, and then to us, making it and going the appropriate way to make it as aesthetically pleasing for the neighborhood, rather than putting up a circus tent or something that would work. We want something that's structurally going to be there and be good, and we are open to doing whatever we need to make sure, and we do know our neighbors, and we actually are out there all the time talking with them. It's on their garage side, so it's really not affecting them, and like we said, it's not covering our full area. We hope to grow up and have grandkids here that can come out and enjoy with us on our area and enjoy the back. And it does take a lot of sun there, which, we could have invested to get that when we moved, but we really thought we found a good spot. We really felt good. And we've enjoyed Gardner, so we really hope that we can remain here versus what we might, feel like we need to do. But thank you.
Thank you. And do we have an applicant presentation? Or?
I'm Tyler from Beach Living. I helped get everything, prepare the report, brought all the information in, and my friend just want to build a patio cover. It's a beautiful product, looks great, no maintenance, lasts a lifetime. And it's just, man doesn't want to be out in the sun. Could you help him out a little bit? Or could we, cut it back, not build it all the way to full projection, or somehow help them? Could you guys not hear me?
I could, but they're recording it also. So.
That's all I have to say, though. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Are there any others wishing to speak? If none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0. And we're now, excuse me, and we'll now go into the board discussion. Does anyone have any comments or questions on the board that they would like to ask or discuss?
I don't think I have any questions for staff. I mean, everything that's put together here is pretty concise.
I've got a question about, it's the very last item in the information, the plot plan for this lot. Shows a patio, and the patio doesn't appear to be the same design as what it looks like is in place currently?
Correct. That was the original plot plan for when the house was constructed. So at some point, the patio has been increased in size.
You want me to comment on that? Why is it? We just asked them to build a bigger patio when we moved in, and that's what they built. So we had no really, the builder built, that's what he built, so I don't know what he did on that end.
I guess I have just a quick question for the staff. As far as the setback requirements, do they apply to a retractable awning, or they just apply to a permanent structure that's attached to the home?
It would not apply to an retractable awning.
For me, the big question is around criteria. I mean, the criteria we have to play with as far as the board goes, there's 4 pieces. The only one piece that is the defining factor for me is, does this make it unique? To me, this isn't a unique situation. It's a corner lot. I had to go through the exact same process, to be honest with you. So for me, because of that, I don't know how I can get there based on these set questions that we have to go through. As much as I would love to, I don't know how to get there going through these specific questions.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with Heath that once you go down the road to make an exception for one of these, and everybody else is going to want the same exception who wants to do this, and you wouldn't really have any grounds on which to control that. So I think we're going to have to stick to what the code says at the time.
And I think that's the hard part about these scenarios.
Yeah, I asked the question about the patio because the plat plan that was approved didn't have a patio of the size and extending as far into the lot as is currently there. And as it's noted, the patio is 11 feet from the rear line, and our current code is no more than 20 feet from the rear line. So even the concrete portion that's already existing is non-conforming. So that's another factor for me. So
is there any other discussion from the board?
Not for me.
I'd entertain a motion for this item.
I'll make a motion to accept staff's recommendation of denying this request setback variance of 14 feet for patio cover for BZA 17.0 or 17-01.
second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to deny the motion. Is there any discussion of the motion? Being no discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Motion carries 4-0. And that concludes the item on the agenda. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
Motion to adjourn made by Heath, seconded by Monica. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.